Today I'm going to talk about how to price your home when you're trying to sell it in Oakland. So we are a full month into the quarantine now. How are you handling it? For myself, I've been so stressed out. My hair has gone totally gray. But do you think I can rock it? So why is it important to price your house appropriately when you're trying to sell it? Well, if you price your property competitively, you're going to generate the most activity from agents and buyers. A property generates the most amount of interest when it first hits the market. The number of showings is greatest during that first couple weeks that it's on the market if you price it at the market expectation. If you price it too high, no one's going to come to see it. If you're starting too high and then dropping the price later, misses that window of time that you're going to have that greatest amount of buzz and activity. So you're just not going to generate a strong response. The challenge here in Oakland is our funny real estate culture with regard to pricing. So we don't do things like other markets do. So I'm specifically talking about the fact that we don't price a house at what the seller wants or expects for the property. We price way below. It's the real estate culture of our area, and honestly, it's not something that's likely to change. That is, unless COVID-19 changes it, but who knows? We shall see. So at least to date, this is something that's been much larger than any one realtor. So regardless of whether an agent wants to follow this cultural convention or not, it persists. Because the reality is it's very difficult for one person to change a culture. So the first thing in pricing your home is knowing what the approximate value is of your home. And it's important to note that this is not a single price point, but it's rather a range. So the thing about price is that the value of your property is determined by what a buyer is willing to pay and what a seller is willing to accept in today's market. Buyers make their pricing decision based on comparing your property to other properties on the market and recently sold properties in the area. And this is what you need to know and be aware of. So know what the comps are for your house. So comps are comparable homes that recently sold in your neighborhood. And you should have a very thorough analysis done by someone that knows how to do this, because there are several variables that need to be looked at and compared to get to close to that right price point. So you need to know numbers of bedrooms, numbers of bathrooms, square footage, the layout, upgrades, the quality of those upgrades, if there's anything funky and kind of like obsolete that has to do with your house. The other thing is that out here in Oakland is that everyone expects houses to sell for over asking. Buying a house here is more like an auction process due to the culture of our pricing. So the list price should be much lower than the expected sold price. And it should really be viewed as an opening bid. The strategy basically is list low to sell high. And certainly when I list homes to sell, I employ these same techniques when I work with my sellers and price their homes to sell. The reality is if I didn't, I would be doing a disservice to my sellers. Success leaves clues, and this is how it works out here. At the same time, you don't want to price too drastically low, because if you price too low, you're going to have tons of people that will never be able to afford your house coming through, and it's going to be way too many people to handle. Moreover, there's no consistency in the list price. Often people hear statistics like, oh, Oakland sells for 20% above the list price or whatever it happens to be that month. And, some agents list 20, 30, maybe 40% below the expected sales price. And it kind of depends on a lot of things like the neighborhood, the condition of the house, who the agent is, etc. So you want to know what your comps have been listed at as well as what they've sold at. And these are your clues as to what you should list your house. So I just wanted to point out a couple examples of this. This was a house that we sold at 5881 Balmoral. And you can see that it was listed at $989, so just under $1 million. And we sold it for $1.48 million, and we did get 17 offers. So we listed low to sell high. Here's another example. of a house that we sold at 3554 Lincoln Avenue, also here in Oakland. We listed it at $799,000 and we sold it for $990,000. So those are just two examples that underpricing works out here. Now, one more thing. How good the marketing is, how extensive the marketing reach is, and how good the negotiation skills of your realtor are going to have a very massive direct impact on exactly how much over asking your property will sell for, because these are major factors that set realtors apart from each other. So just to reiterate, when you're selling in a market that has a culture of underpricing like Oakland does, and you want to be successful in that market, then you need to follow the convention. If you price at what you want in a market where everyone is accustomed to a house selling for over list price, then they're going to think that you want too much for it. Your house is going to look really expensive for what it is, and you as a seller are going to look unreasonable. So when people compare homes in a certain price range, you're going to stand out, and not in a good way. And you don't want that, because all of that is the kiss of death. And you're going to blow it when it comes to making the most out of that impact of your first 2 weeks on the market. So price your house accordingly. And with the knowledge that you are not obligated to accept an offer that is not at what you want. It is okay to say no. And if everything has been done right, you'll likely be in a multiple offer situation, which is where you want to be in a competitive market. And then you just negotiate the hell out of it. So if you want to know more, you should definitely subscribe to my channel, because I'm talking about all kinds of stuff related to Oakland real estate. And if you found this video helpful, give me a like below. And make sure to check out my video on how to market your home in Oakland, because that is directly related to how much you're going to get for your house.